Okay, so essentially what we're going to do, we're going to take the trim router, this little guy, and we're going to set them up so we can do a round over on the top of the platter board. And then once we've got that done, then we'll come back and then we're going to put on the guide route in a juice groove, and then we'll flip it over and then just put some relief cuts here just to add a little bit of visual interest on the bottom of the board and on the sides. And also when it's lying flat, you're able to just get your fingers underneath to be able to pick it up. I think that's the important part. It's although it's a board, it might not be something we're using all the time, but it needs to be functional and sensible in terms of use.
So what we'll start off with just a simple round over. So you've got the router, little palm router, and it's got a little button that you press in that can lock the spindle for when you're trying to put a bit in or take a bit out. You just push that in. You can finger tighten it first, and then with the spanner you can tighten it a bit more. Put the plate on. Then what you want to do is try and line it up with a bit so you can get a nice round over without worrying about sanding afterwards.
Just make sure that the tip of the cutter there, that's going to give your the round over base. We just want that below the surface of the base plate, because it's above, then you're going to have an odd looking little groove.
Cool, so once you've got your bit in, you can go ahead and put your battery in. So what you want to do with this is just put it down gently and run it around anti-clockwise.
Good to go. Obviously we need to just take into consideration these little corners. That's all, because there's end grain there, and if we happen to just pass all the way through, we might have a little bit of break up the side. So it's often best to come there and just taper off, then start here and just work back, maintaining the cut.
Take the battery off always, so you don't accidentally switch it on when you're trying to change said bit. Finger tightened.
On the side, if you zoom in there, there's a scale. Use millimeters here, and basically what you can do is that you can set your height adjustment based on that. So if you get your initial point there, so you can see where the bearing now is flush with the base plate, and that reads at, that's 22, and say you want a 6mm cut, we're going to move up to 28, and I think the relief that we're looking for is a little bit more than that, so we'll move up to 30, and that gives us an 8mm relief.
Cool, so now what we're going to do is we're going to put a very small juice groove in the top of the serving board. We'll take the router bit out and put the new one in and tighten it up. Have your router bit with your biggest cutter facing your fence, so you know where it will start. And then all what you want to do is just line it up for where you want it. So we're going to have the outside with this line, and all what you do is you tighten up this fence. And once you've tightened that up, it will be exactly where you want it. And then all what you need to do is get your depth. So we don't want it to be that deep at all. We're just going to have a small little groove like that. And once we've got that in, lock it up. And now your router is set up to make your juice groove.
So when it's activated, the light is on, so it'll help with, especially with a clear base, so you can determine where exactly you're going to be cutting.
So what you want to do is when you start off your juice groove, you just want to rest it down just slightly at an angle. So you'll have your router at an angle like this, and you just slowly want to plunge as you go along. So this helps you, one, not make a burn hole, but also you can just get it in neatly without it binding and wanting to climb up.
Slow and steady is the trick.
Got a little bit of sanding to do, just on the end grain where it burns. So this is a very, very small router bit, so you don't have to worry with this specific one about doing multiple passes. But if you're doing a much bigger juice groove, these are very small boards that we're working with here. If you've got a bigger juice groove to do lots of passes, can do 1 or 2, and then to get rid of the burning, you just do a very, very small 1/2 mil last pass to go around, and that will give you most probably the closest to your finished product. The parallel guide for this little trim router is very neat. It's very easy to use. What I do suggest is, if you're going to be making a lot of them, is just to put a piece of wood across the length of this. It will help you when you get to these corners that you don't accidentally go around this corner, which I've done many a times. So you can just put a little piece of wood across here. It helps a lot. There's 2 holes where you can screw it in from. We've got the little ball bit in here just to make the little groove. And yeah, the adjustment on this router is very easy to go up and down. It's just a one unlock, and there's a gear which you can drive to push it up and down. So yeah, all in all, it's a very, very neat router to have.